Welcome to the Cybersecurity Competition Federation show. I'm Dan Manson. I teach computer information systems at Cal Poly Pomona and serve as principal investigator for a National Science Foundation grant to help form an umbrella organization over cybersecurity competitions. The Cybersecurity Competition Federation can support the development of skill at a large scale by bringing cybersecurity competitions under an umbrella organization which will help players of all ages and skill levels identify a point of entry into a continuum of cybersecurity competition experiences. With a focus on communication and promotion, the CCF maintains the autonomy of competition creators, supports their business models, and does not interfere with their sponsorship or funding sources. This week, we wrap up our coverage of the CyberPatriot National Finals. I interviewed Diane Miller, Director of CyberPatriot Programs for Northrop Grumman, on the importance of diversity in the program and future plans for CyberPatriot.
I think the diversity thing is especially important for us in Northrop Grumman. And one of the reasons is when you think about how complex the cyber threat is and how much you really need to look at it from different angles, you have to have a diverse set of experiences and academic background. And unless you have students coming from a diverse set of academic background, classes they've taken in school, the things they've been exposed to, no two children are going to look at the same problem the same way. And it's all about building the diversity of thought so that you can have the best possible solution to the problem.
What is the future of CyberPatriot? It started off 8 teams in 2009 service schools, 2011 open division, so any high school can participate. Last year, the middle school division started over 100 middle school this year. Now you've started an elementary school program. Is this becoming a national sport for cyber?
It's funny. You think, what could we possibly do next? But there are so many other ways that we can continue to grow. We added the summer camp program last year. Just like any athlete that's going to practice year-round to strengthen their sport and be ready for the academic year of sport, that's what we need to be doing in CyberPatriot. So the students have new things they're learning all summer long, keeping sharp on their game. So the summer camps are a great way to do that. We're expanding internationally. Next month we'll be going to London for the first national finals of the program that we deployed in the United Kingdom across the country. It's called Cybersecurity. And that started out very much the same way as CyberPatriot. They started with 30 teams, and we're expecting explosive growth in that nation. And then at the end of April, we'll be doing a hands-on workshop and competition in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at King Saud University. So when you think about it, the opportunities are endless for taking the core skill sets of technical skills, combining it with those wonderful life skills, as we call them, in teamwork and collaboration, in leadership and in communications, and applying that in any sector of the business. Think about that. Every aspect of our economic prosperity and national security depends on protecting our most critical assets. Students here can learn new things as we continue to expand the program. I think it's limitless.
We are continuing our segment this week called Inside the Game. With me is Dr. Jason Pittman. Jason, welcome back.
Thanks, Dan.
I had a wonderful time at the CyberPatriot National Finals last week. I am more convinced than ever that cyber competitions are becoming something like a sport. The best coaches have much in common with the best coaches in other sports, and the best CyberPatriot competitors have the same drive and teamwork as our best athletes. CyberPatriot is going to do wonderful things for these kids, for our colleges, and for our nation. Kids are going to have the opportunity to play in CyberPatriot and now in other cybersecurity competitions for 6 years before they go to college. How good are they going to be?
I think they're going to be extremely proficient. In fact, I was thinking about this a little bit earlier, and teams are starting to emerge much like if you played hockey in the 80s at the Olympic level, you knew you were going to play the Russians in the finals. If you were a weightlifter, you knew you were going to face a Bulgarian. Now, if you play basketball in the Olympics, let's say, you're going to face an American team, and you know what you're going to look like in that situation. And you're starting to see these programs evolve to a high level of proficiency.
Now, these kids are the best and brightest that we're developing for cyber defense competitions. But in my interview with Diane Miller that we just saw, the plan is to export this to other countries, just like Little League was exported to other countries, and eventually we developed 2 tracks for the Little League Championship, the U.S. champion and the international champion, and for the past 20 years it seemed like the international teams have really done well against us. Are we going to get to the point where some of the kids who play CyberPatriot, say in South Korea or in the UK or in Saudi Arabia, they're going to get to the point where they become really tough competition for the best and brightest we have in the U.S.?
I think so, and I'm kind of really excited to see how the nature of competition evolves when you consider the international playing field. I mean, across ethnic and cultural barriers, we all use technology the same, right? You use an iPhone the same way no matter what country you live in, for instance. How you attribute attacks and how you defend systems, though, does have a cultural basis in it. So it'll be really interesting to see when we get this really melting pot of culture and ethnic background, how technology comes into play.
Diane emphasized diversity in the clip that we have, and the importance of reaching kids from every part of the country, from every background, from every environment. And the same is true. The more CyberPatriot is able to go to other countries and have the opportunities to have other cultures be part of CyberPatriot, I really think we're going to see a richness, a melting pot of the best and brightest cyber defense talent there is. And the interchange between the coaches, the interchange between the kids, it's going to be just as much as what we have in Little League or other types of sports.
I totally agree, Dan. I think it's an exciting time to be involved in cyber competitions. And as we look forward to the growth of the field, before I predicted that within the next 12 to 18 months we'd be able to have competitions every weekend for every kid everywhere. That's only going to get more exciting as we get into the international arena.
I'm going to make one more prediction. I notice in CyberPatriot the red team is scripted.
Yes.
And to me, the fact that it's scripted shows it can be broadcast. It can play to an audience. I think next year we're going to start to see CyberPatriot that can be shown to an audience, that can be shown in a way that will make this competition fun and exciting and understandable to those who aren't playing, who aren't close to it.
That's a big prediction, Dan, but if I can play a part in it, I'd be excited to. I think that's a great way to move for us.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Dan.
Next week, we will provide on-site coverage of the Pacific Rim Collegiate Cyber Defense Competition in Seattle, Washington. If you have a competition you would like us to cover in a future show, please contact us at cyberfed.org. I'm Dan Manson. See you next week.